Hey there, Pajama Grandma Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here this morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're seeing my face or hearing my voice. I want to talk about KPIs today. Do you know what KPI stands for? It's kind of a carryover from my corporate days, and it stands for Key Performance Indicators and numbers, and the importance of knowing your numbers. And you don't have to know a lot of numbers. You don't have to be a numbers person to have a supersized business, but you got to know your numbers and you got to pay attention to them. You have to be tracking something, and even if it's just one or two key things that you look at every single day, you have to be doing that so you can gauge how your business is doing over time and whether you're trending up or trending down, because things happen in our businesses and around us all the time, and if we're not paying attention to us, guess what? We can be out of business. How do I know? Been there, done that. Not paying attention to what was going on in a particular business. So what kind of things are key performance indicators? Depends on what type of business you have and what type of business you're trying to supersize. For example, in a retail business, when I'm running a retail store or a retail business, I always look at daily sales. Every single day, the first thing I want to know is daily sales broken down by key main category for that particular retail business. So for example, in the, I want to give an example of business I've been in. I was in the game business like literally games, board games, and that was before electronic games. It was a job I had while I was going to school, going to college. And every day we had to look at the different categories of games and how much we were selling. We would look at those, and that would help us decide and make decisions on, well, what do we want to promote? What do we want to run special promos for or special offers on to try to increase sales in a particular area? In manufacturing, manufacturing Italian food, for example, I always looked at the production numbers every single day. I always needed to know, what do we have for inventory, what do we produce the day before, and what do we have for sales going out. So we looked at daily sales, and we looked at overall units produced for each category of product, because we needed to know those things so that we could decide and make decisions based on what we needed to schedule more of, to run more of, to meet the demand from our customers. So that's what I mean by key performance indicators. I'm going to say you want to look at your overall profitability, and you can do that in a quick and dirty way by knowing what your overhead expenses are and just creating a percentage that you subtract off of your overall sales for that. So you can look at your gross sales for the day minus the percent of what your normal operating expenses are or your overhead. Like, for example, in the manufacturing business, we knew that we had a 26% operating overhead expense. So I would know what the daily sales were. I could look at my daily sales and I could subtract off, and it wasn't an exact science. So anybody that wants an exact number or perfection, excuse me, you're not going to use this strategy or this method. But if you want to really look at the big picture and exponentially smooth it over time, you can go ahead and just use this method. So I would take what our gross sales was, what our sales were for the day, I would subtract off 25%, and that would give me just a little idea of what my overhead would be. So, key performance indicators, knowing your numbers. Do we remember or know that what we pay attention to increases? What we ignore or don't pay attention to decreases. So if you want your business to supersize and grow and be more profitable, pay attention to your profits, pay attention to your sales, because then you know how to adjust on a daily basis or on a short-term basis to make sure that those numbers are what you need them to be successful. So comment below what you look at for your numbers or your KPIs. Just, is it sales? Is it profits? Is it maybe there's a certain factor in your business that makes all the difference. Maybe it's number of sales calls that you do in a day, because you know that you'll convert 20, 10, or 16% of those calls into new customers or clients. So is that what you look at every day? The number of actual sales calls that are made. Whatever it is for you, comment below, and I will see you tomorrow with another supersized business, super short. Have an awesome day. Bye.